Alright, this is your lecture on your research plan. So this sheet here is in your modules. It's a Word document. It's an attachment that I've put up underneath your research plan due date. The first thing you want to do is go up here in the heading. Okay, go back to home when you click in heading. Make sure it's left justified and put your name up here, okay, so that your name is on your paper. All right, you can put the due date, but you don't really have to. All right, the thing about this is, luckily, it's very easy to manipulate. I'm going to explain it to you. Okay, when you need to do research, it's sometimes tempting to jump in and start looking for information right away. However, doing research is complex and time-consuming. Research-based writing projects usually require you to follow several steps. You need to come up with a topic or to analyze the requirements of an assigned topic. That means read Essay 4 assignment, okay? And come up with a research question to guide your research efforts. Once you do some serious, focused research to find the information you need, you'll be ready to turn your research question into a tentative thesis and sketch out a rough outline. After doing whatever additional research you need to fill in your outline, you'll write a draft and get some response to that draft. Those are your peer reviews. You may then need to do additional research before revising. Once you revise, you'll need to edit and proofread. In other words, there's a lot to do, so you need a schedule. A good place to start a research project is by creating a timeline for getting all this work done, perhaps using the form on this page, okay? So, the sections that follow offer advice on considering your rhetorical situation, coming up with a topic, and doing preliminary research, developing a research question, a tentative thesis, and a rough outline, and creating a working bibliography and keeping track of your sources. Okay, the chapters that you're going to mostly be concerned with are going to be in the section Doing Research in your textbook. It's in Part 7. It starts on page 477. So you'll look in your schedule for your readings on this, okay? So how do you do this? All right, so analyze your rhetorical situation. Well, you're going to put your date in like this. You're going to highlight that line and say you want to do this the 15th, April 15th, 2021, okay? Choose a possible topic. So you're going to do that the same day. You would do the same thing and change the date. Do preliminary research. Come up with your research question. Now, schedule interviews and other field research. Now, we do not want you to do any field research because of COVID. No door-to-door kind of stuff. No bunch of face-to-face kind of stuff, obviously, okay? But you could do like a social media kind of question. Say that you've picked the topic of legalizing gambling or legalizing marijuana, or say you've decided that school uniforms are what you're going to argue for. You could put the question out there on your Facebook, you know, what do you guys think? Do you think this should be legalized or not? And you want to use that as a type of research. Well, you would go in here and it wouldn't be, you know, you could count that as a field research, okay? Well, then you would just take out the words interviews. Well, oops, you want to take out other. So you want to schedule that field research, right? Go back over here, tab your line, back over, then you'll highlight it, put the dates that you're going to have that question open on Facebook. So you're going to have it open April 20th to April 25th of 2021. Okay, that's when you're going to have your question open on Facebook. That's when your dates are going to be to have that question open. That would be how you put it in here on your schedule. Find and read library and web sources. Again, that would be an over a span of time date. It might be several dates. Maybe you're only going to be able to work on it on Tuesday and Thursday of a certain week, or on a Saturday and a Sunday. You might have multiple dates. Just use a semicolon to separate the dates. Say like April 20th, 2021, semicolon, April 22nd, 2021, April, 26th, 2021. Okay? Do any field research. Again, you're not going to do any field research. So what are you going to do with that line? You're going to go back and just delete it. Come up with a tentative thesis and outline. Put your date in there. Okay? Write a draft. Get response. Oh, and I want to go back to this too, where we changed this schedule field research. We also had interviews. Say you're doing something with, say the athletes, and whether or not they should maintain a C average, and you want to interview maybe one of your coaches or one of the coaches here on campus by phone, something like that. Or you know a couple of the softball team members or something like that, and you want to interview them by phone. So then you would put in the dates that the span of dates that you want to try and do those interviews. Or you're doing an interview for legalizing marijuana, and you know somebody who has cancer, and you feel like we should at least do medical marijuana. And you feel like it would help this person because of the nausea and the pain and stuff that they're going through, and you want to interview them and get their opinion, then you would put the dates in there that you're going to interview that person, or maybe it's multiple people. You would do the same thing here for interviews instead of field research, okay? Maybe you're going to do both. Well, then I would suggest separating them. Tab over. Oh, well, we don't want to tab that line. Take your underline off, then tab over. Oop, go down. Tab over. Schedule interviews. And then tab over. Put your underline back on. And then say April 22nd. 2021 is when you've scheduled that interview with that person. Okay, so that's what you're going to kind of do. Get response is going to be your peer review dates. So say that you've submitted your rough draft, the due date for that rough draft. Okay, when you're going to submit it, when the peer review is due. So that's going to be the range of dates that you're going to put in that slot. Okay, so you just look at the schedule and figure out that date. Do any additional research. Revise. Prepare a list of works cited. Edit. Prepare the final draft. Proofread. Submit the final draft. Well, you know when your paper's due. Okay, you've got the due date. So those types of things, same thing with like this outline. Come up with a tentative thesis and outline. Well, when the outline is due, right? you might want to decide to work on it a little bit before the due date, but your end date should probably be the day the outline is due. Okay? So that's how you kind of work and manipulate this paper to work for you. Okay? And that's how you do your research plan. Okay? A lot of people have, after learning about how to do this research plan, decide to use this for other essays and for other projects that are research-based in other classes. It keeps you on schedule, especially if you're one of those people who tend to just be kind of scattered and you don't know when I should do this, and I've got other classes, and you're trying to do multiple things, especially like if at the end of the term you've got a science class and it wants a paper and your math class wants a paper. Well, this is a way for you to schedule all those things. You don't have to use this just for your English class. You can use it for multiple tasks, okay? So keep that in mind. When you're trying to schedule things out, you can take these, print 2 or 3 of these off, save this in your computer as a blank form, and then hit Save As Essay 4 Research Plan. And just keep the original research plan blank, okay? And then you can print 3 or 4 of these off blank, line them up next to each other, and schedule things out to keep yourself organized. Whenever I have a call for papers and I have 3 or 4 papers that I'm working on at one time, I use this form. It really does help keep you on task with different projects. So I just wanted you to keep that in mind, okay? Again, if you have any questions, email me, text me. Y'all don't stay silent. You stay silent, you stay confused, and there's no sense in that. That is what I'm here for. All right. Bye, y'all.